Has this been happening in your Ready or Not raids recently? If so, trust me, you're not alone. In the most recent big Ready or Not update, armed suspects were overhauled. They take cover, can play dead, and now sometimes come equipped with armor. Any one of these would make them noticeably harder, but with all three implemented, armed suspects are now significantly harder to take down. Normally, a 5.56 carbine with a 9mm handgun would usually be more than enough for most raids. But with these changes, particularly with the armor, these guns aren't cutting it anymore. But fret not. The devs have already implemented certain firearms that are capable of taking down even the toughest of suspects wearing the thickest of armor. In this video, we'll go over 3 different firearms that can take down these armored suspects. A few months ago, I concluded that the revolver was fun, but obsolete due to shot placement and ammo capacity being the key factors to taking down assailants. Shot placement remains the most important factor, but it seems mag dumping 9mm into an armed suspect isn't doing much to stop them. On the other hand, 3.57 Magnum has no issue going through armor. One shot is more than enough to put down the most armored of suspects. However, there are a few key issues with revolvers that have not changed. The biggest issue is ammo capacity. Revolvers at most generally hold 6 shots. That's not a lot. With the high recoil of the revolver, missing even at close range is a very real possibility. And the reload of the revolver is quite slow compared to a modern handgun. Finally, the revolver in this game cannot mount a flashlight. For dark maps such as 213 Park Homes, a flashlight is necessary to identify your potential target. Shotguns hit hard in real life, and they do in Ready or Not as well. Aimed well, one shot is all you need to put down an armed suspect. Optics and lights can be mounted, and 7 rounds is more than enough for any one suspect. Buckshot can be used for close range maps, and slugs can be used for bigger maps. One other benefit of shotguns is how violent they are. Even if you don't kill a suspect, a shotgun blast can stun them and make them rethink their life choices. If you're lucky, you can make armed suspects surrender this way. Of course, shotguns have their downsides as well. While manageable, shotgun recoil is much more significant than most rifles. I usually end up not mounting an optic on shotguns, as I find the dot jumps around too much and does more to impede my aim rather than assist with it. Additionally, shotguns do not hold many rounds. 7 rounds may be more than enough for one person, but it becomes a challenge to deal with multiple targets. And this problem is even more severe if you use slugs that need to be aimed. Combine this with the harsher recoil of shotguns, and you have a platform that can stop one threat, but struggles with multiple targets that you see in Ready or Not. You can train shotgun reloads to be very fast, but it requires lots of practice, and usually specific belt setups to do so. For a law enforcement officer, this is not the most practical option. This brings us to battle rifles. Typically, battle rifles are not used by law enforcement, as they are heavier, recoil more, and are at a bigger risk of over-penetrating and hitting something not meant to be hit. All big downsides for law enforcement. However, when armor is involved, a battle rifle is one of the best options you could choose. Battle rifle calibers such as 7.62x51 will easily penetrate through many different types of armor, and these rounds work very well at further ranges, making them more versatile for a variety of maps. Additionally, many modern battle rifles, including the SA-58 in Ready or Not, can be modded with railed handguards to take attachments such as lights, optics, and lasers. This allows them to stay relevant in modern times, where gunfights in the dark are a very real occurrence. Battle rifles have their place, and their modern day place seems to be for the purposes of defeating body armor. The US Army's adoption of the XM5 rifles and subsequent shift away from the 5.56 rifles has been in part due to wanting the ability to effectively penetrate body armor. Of course, battle rifles have their downsides, particularly for law enforcement. 7.62x51 is most effective at higher velocities. A higher velocity requires a longer barrel. For the CQB situations law enforcement typically find themselves in, a long barrel is a detriment in many scenarios. But given the other choices, battle rifles appear to be a very practical choice. Magazine capacity is decent, and are quick to reload. Lights, lasers, and optics can be attached, and they can be used at both short and long ranges. For Ready or Not anyways, the battle rifle is a great tool for defeating body armor. Body armor is an important element of modern gunfighting. In the hands of the good guys, it's an invaluable tool that can save your life and the life of your friends and family. In the hands of bad guys, it's a barrier that must literally be broken. Armor, just like firearms, is a tool. In the right hands, it can be an invaluable tool in a gunfight, but in the wrong hands, it can facilitate horrible acts. Owning body armor is important, and owning the means to defeat body armor is just as important. As seen in this video game, there are ways to defeat body armor, and if you live in a country where you can, I would highly encourage you to get a firearm capable of defeating body armor.